From National 9 News, this is Nightline with Kim Watkins.
New ploy by Taliban leaders as they urge Osama bin Laden to leave Afghanistan. US continues to order a massive build-up of military power. And Qantas leasing deal gives Ansett a chance of revival. Good evening. Afghanistan's Muslim leaders have taken a surprise step in their response to America's demand to hand over Osama bin Laden. A meeting of clerics has decided to ask the man suspected of the US terror attacks to leave Afghanistan, but only if he chooses to. Adrian Brown has the first of our reports.
After 2 days of secretive talks, a high-level Islamic council has asked the world's most wanted man to find somewhere else to live. But it was only a recommendation, not a decision. A surprise, though, nevertheless. The last word will rest with the Taliban's reclusive leader, Mullah Mohammed Omar, a close friend of Osama bin Laden. Meanwhile, across the border in Pakistan, the protests continue. Tens of thousands angry about their government support for an American attack on Osama bin Laden in neighbouring Afghanistan, and vowing to demonstrate further.
We are not afraid of the Americans. If they have the nuclear power, we also have it. We'll fight them.
Tension remains high in towns and cities bordering Afghanistan. The city of Peshawar here in Pakistan's northwest frontier has perhaps good reason to feel anxious. It is within easy striking distance of Taliban forces now reportedly digging in just across the border. Concerned about the groundswell of opposition he now faces, President General Pervez Musharraf went on national television calling for calm.
I appeal to the Pakistani people to show unity. Please trust me.
He said Pakistan's support for America's campaign was part of a fight against terrorism, not Islam. And the regional crisis is worsening, with Russian troops in Tajikistan, which also borders Afghanistan, now on full alert if war breaks out.
We cross now to Adrian Brown in Pakistan. And Adrian, is this just another delaying tactic by the Taliban?
I think, Kim, that's certainly the way that the Bush administration is going to regard it. But there are many here in Pakistan who are surprised by the resolutions that came out of that meeting today. Let's be clear, it wasn't a decision but merely a recommendation. But it certainly went farther than many people thought this meeting of clerics was going to go. What they've effectively said is that they would prefer it if Osama bin Laden left the country as soon as possible. But what they haven't said is that they would force him to leave the country.
Do you think the clerics' move, though, is enough to stop America launching an attack on Afghanistan?
Well, I think the clerics clearly hope that it will be, but as you pointed out, I think many will see it as the Taliban simply buying time. I think the Americans want to get this thing over and done with fairly quickly, and I think that unless Osama bin Laden is delivered to the world, to the United States soon, then one can only believe that we're going to move inexorably towards conflict.
Adrian, faced with such overwhelming military force, why would the Taliban not hand over bin Laden?
Well, Osama bin Laden has a private army, reportedly, numbering around 10,000. These are hardened, dedicated Islamic fighters who vowed to fight for the cause and to defend Osama bin Laden. Now, obviously, they'd be no match for the Americans, but they would certainly make life very difficult for the Americans if they were to go in on the ground to Afghanistan to try to dislodge him.
Are the protests in Pakistan growing nastier, or has this move by the Taliban eased the tensions somewhat?
Well, there are small, sporadic demonstrations here, Kim, almost every day, but let's keep it in perspective. They are fairly small. The military government here, the police, it's a huge machine, have managed to contain the trouble, but that of course may change if and when the shooting happens, if and when we start seeing dead Afghanis on our television screens.
Adrian, when you're out on the streets, how do the Pakistani people react to Western journalists?
Well, I have to say that here in Islamabad, ordinary people you meet on the streets, are very friendly indeed. towards Westerners. There is no hint of aggression, no hint of malice. I haven't felt intimidated once. Yesterday we were in Peshawar, though, which is very near the border with Afghanistan, and certainly the mood there is a lot edgier. People will talk to you, but they want to make sure that you understand exactly where they're coming from, which is, don't confuse terrorism with Islam. They're very clear about that distinction, and they want that message to get out. And they also say, you know, tell the outside world that if you attack Afghanistan, that will be interpreted as an attack on Pakistan. And that was made blatantly clear in some interviews we did in the streets yesterday.
There is attack on Afghanistan, we will consider that it is attack on Peshawar too. Because the same peoples are living on both sides.
America has no evidence and it has no right to attack innocent people.
We condemn terrorism, whether it is happening inside or outside in the world.
And it really illustrated to me the deep divisions that now exist in society here.
Right, Adrian, we'll leave it there. Thanks for your time.
Thanks very much, Kim.
Adrian Brown in Pakistan. Tonight's move by the Taliban is unlikely to deter the United States from assembling and deploying a mighty array of military power in the Gulf region. War jets and naval ships are already on the move, and there could be more than one target, as Michael Usher reports.
Dozens of B-52 and B-1 bombers have been ordered to be in the region in 6 days to operate from bases in the Indian Ocean and the Persian Gulf. Suddenly, a regular patrol for the carrier Roosevelt has taken on a deadly dimension.
This is certainly no longer just a routine deployment after last week. Now it is time for us to pick up the mantle, to destroy terrorism, and remove this cancer.
The US already has 2 carriers in the Gulf, both equipped with 80 planes each. When the order is given to strike, the US could also call on 26 British warships already heading for the region for a long-planned exercise. In the US, tens of thousands of soldiers continue to prepare for what's to come.
Obviously the spouses, families, parents, children are all worried and don't want to see their husbands go off, but that's our job, so we're here to do it regardless of when or where that takes us.
And it's being reported that some of President Bush's senior advisors believe any mission to seek out and destroy Osama bin Laden should also include finishing the unfinished business of the Gulf War, getting rid of Saddam Hussein. But after earlier this week unnerving some of those advisors with Wild West rhetoric about Osama bin Laden, wanted dead or alive, the President is expected to adopt a more measured tone in an address to Congress and the nation tomorrow.
This is not a speech to announce military action. The President has made very clear that he intends to be patient, that he is going to review his options, that he is going to look for ways to be effective in whatever it is that we do, and that we are now launched on a long campaign.
Meanwhile, the FBI now has 4,000 agents fanning out across the US amid continued fears that a network of terrorists is still in place for another wave of attacks. The Bureau released a security picture of hijacker Mohammed Atta as he boarded a flight to Boston on the day of the attack. It now appears some of the hijackers, like Atta, not only learned how to fly in the US, but also learned how to fight. Agents have discovered that one of the hijackers took a self-defense course at a Florida gym.
They must have figured that there might be somebody might fight back. You know, a big guy might fight back.